The biggest difference between people who succeed and people who stay stuck isn't talent. It isn't luck. And it's not even discipline. It's identity. Most people wake up every day trying to change what they do. But the people who create lasting success change who they believe they are. That sounds simple, but it changes everything. Because if you still see yourself as someone who procrastinates, gets distracted, or gives up easily, your brain will keep pulling you back to that version of yourself, even when you're trying your hardest to move forward. So today we're going to talk about the identity shift that separates winners from everyone else. And by the end of this video, you may realize that the biggest thing holding you back isn't your ability. It's the story you've been telling yourself. Think about your average day. Maybe you promise yourself you'll wake up early. You hit snooze, you plan to study, you end up scrolling your phone. You tell yourself you'll start the project today. Tomorrow sounds easier. After a while, it feels like you're losing a battle against yourself. Most people think the problem is motivation, but motivation comes and goes. The deeper problem is that your actions and your identity don't match. If your mind believes you're just not a disciplined person, every disciplined action feels unnatural. It feels like you're pretending to be someone else, and this is where most people fail. They try to force new habits onto an old identity. Imagine someone trying to quit smoking while still saying, "I'm a smoker who's trying to quit." Compare that with someone who says, "I don't smoke." The action is similar, but the identity is completely different. Your brain is always trying to stay consistent with how you see yourself. That's why identity matters more than willpower. But what most people don't realize is that identity isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you repeat an action, your brain collects evidence. Read 10 pages today? That's one vote for becoming a reader. Go for a walk instead of skipping exercise? Another vote. Finish the task you wanted to avoid? Another vote. One action won't transform your life overnight. But hundreds of small actions slowly rewrite the story you believe about yourself. This is why tiny habits matter so much. People often ignore small wins because they don't look impressive. But your brain notices them. It isn't asking, "Was this action huge?" It's asking, "Is this becoming normal?" And normal eventually becomes identity. There's another hidden reason people struggle with change. They focus only on outcomes. I want to lose weight. I want better grades. I want more money. Those goals aren't bad. But if you only chase outcomes, you'll often lose motivation once progress slows. Instead, ask a different question. What kind of person achieves this? A fit person doesn't just exercise, they become someone who values movement. A productive person doesn't simply finish tasks, they become someone who protects their focus. A confident person doesn't wait to feel fearless. They become someone who acts despite uncertainty. Notice the difference? The goal is no longer something you chase, it's someone you become. And this changes how you make decisions every single day. Here's a simple example. Imagine you're offered two choices. One person thinks, "Should I skip today's workout?" Another thinks, "What would a healthy person do?" The second question is powerful because it shifts your attention from emotions to identity. Feelings change every day. Identity lasts much longer. But here's something even more important. Your environment is constantly shaping your identity, whether you realize it or not. If your phone is always next to you, it quietly teaches your brain that distraction is normal. If your desk is messy, your brain starts expecting chaos. If everyone around you complains, making excuses begins to feel acceptable. Your surroundings become silent teachers. That's why successful people don't rely only on self-control. They build environments that make the right choice easier. Want to read more? Leave a book where you usually sit. Want less screen time? Charge your phone outside your bedroom. Want to write every morning? Prepare your notebook the night before. These changes seem small, but they remove friction. And when good habits become easier, they happen more often. More repetition creates stronger identity, and stronger identity creates lasting change. But there's another trap that keeps people stuck. They expect perfection. Miss one workout? I've failed. Eat one unhealthy meal? My diet is ruined. Skip one study session? I'll start next week. This is all or nothing thinking, and it's one of the fastest ways to destroy consistency. Winners don't avoid mistakes. They recover quickly. They understand that one bad day doesn't erase months of progress. They don't ask, "Did I fail?" They ask, "How fast can I get back on track?" That's a completely different mindset, because consistency isn't about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. There's also a psychological reason why your brain resists change. Your brain loves familiarity. Even if your current habits aren't helping you, they're predictable. Predictable feels safe. Growth feels uncertain. That's why trying something new often feels uncomfortable. Not because it's wrong, because it's unfamiliar. Many people mistake discomfort for failure. In reality, discomfort is often evidence that you're growing. When you first start waking up early, it feels strange. When you first speak up in meetings, it feels awkward. When you first say no to distractions, it feels difficult. But every time you repeat those actions, they become a little more familiar. Eventually, they become part of who you are. And that's the identity shift. Not becoming perfect, becoming different through repetition. So where should you start? Start small enough that you can't make excuses. Read one page, write one paragraph, walk for 10 minutes, meditate for 2 minutes. Keep one promise to yourself today, then another tomorrow. Each action is a vote. Each vote strengthens your new identity. And over time, those votes become beliefs. Those beliefs become habits. Those habits become your future. Remember, the people you admire weren't born believing they were capable of extraordinary things. They became capable by repeatedly acting like the person they wanted to become. Then their identity caught up with their actions. So stop asking, "How do I become successful?" Start asking, "Who do I need to become?" Because success isn't just something you achieve, it's something your identity eventually produces. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself and start becoming the kind of person who naturally does the right things, everything begins to change. Not overnight, but permanently. So today, choose one small action that matches the person you want to become. Not because it's impressive, because it's another vote for your future self. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What habit are you struggling with the most right now? Which part of this video made you think differently? And where are you watching from? Remember, every decision you make today is teaching your mind who you are. Make sure you're giving it the right lesson.